I never imagined that a wedding, especially one taking place so close to home, surrounded by familiar faces and sacred vows, would be the place where the very foundation of my world would quietly fall apart. It was her sister's wedding, held at a stunning lakeside venue that looked like it had been carved straight out of a storybook. Strings of golden lights hung like fireflies in the trees. Candles flickered gently along the path to the altar, and the air was thick with laughter, emotion, and the kind of joy that makes you believe in forever. Lena had been off for weeks. Subtle at first, glancing away when I caught her texting, getting defensive when I asked harmless questions. She started slipping into other rooms to take calls, claiming they were about wedding plans. Some nights, she wouldn't come home until well past midnight, citing last-minute arrangements and emotional meltdowns from her sister. She looked drained, distant. I chalked it up to stress. She was a maid of honor, after all. The pressure was on. I ignored the small alarms in my gut, the way you do when you love someone so deeply you'd rather doubt yourself than question them. We had 5 years of marriage behind us, a history built on laughter, struggle, and survival. We'd been through storms and always made it through. So I clung to that faith, silenced a part of me that whispered something was wrong. Until the wedding day. That morning, Lena left before I did. She kissed me on the cheek, a rushed peck without eye contact. She smelled like roses and amber, the scent she saved for important days. I told her I'd see her soon. She smiled too quickly and turned away before I could say more. I arrived about an hour before the ceremony. Hugged her mom. Carried boxes. Smiled when I didn't feel like it. I tried to be the supportive husband I'd always been. But when I asked where Lena was, her sister brushed me off and said she was inside getting ready. Still, something gnawed at me. I wandered the edges of the venue, trying not to look suspicious, not wanting to be the husband who didn't trust his wife. But then I passed by one of the smaller cottages tucked behind the trees. I heard voices, hers, light and laughing, and another, a man's, deep, familiar, a voice I couldn't place at first, but one that pulled unease through my chest. I stepped closer, careful not to make a sound. I didn't want to know, but I needed to. I took out my phone, not sure why. Maybe because part of me already knew what I was about to find and couldn't bear to trust just my memory. I eased the door open a few inches. And there she was, Lena, in a soft silk robe, straddling the lap of a man I recognized, Nick, her sister's fiancé's cousin, the one who always gave me a strange feeling, the one she dismissed as annoying, said he was harmless. Their mouths were tangled, bodies pressed tight, his hands tracing skin he should have never touched. It wasn't a moment of confusion. It wasn't a slip. It was practiced, passionate, familiar. I stepped back quietly, heart pounding but my mind strangely still. There was no explosion of rage, no curse shouted into the trees, just a hollow ache. I walked to my car, closed the door, and sat with the recording in my hand. I watched it once. Then again. I felt like a ghost inside my own body. But I didn't storm in. I didn't expose them right then. I waited. The ceremony went on, soft music echoing through the pines. I stood for photos, smiled through clenched teeth. I watched Lena walk down the aisle like nothing had happened, her smile glowing, her dress perfect. She hugged me afterward, pulled me close to the crowd, played her part flawlessly. I felt like I was sleepwalking through someone else's story. Then came the reception. Toasts, cheers, the kind of lovesick speeches that make people cry into their champagne glasses. I was supposed to say a few words. The husband, the loyal one, the fool. When they handed me the mic, I stood tall, smiled gently, and said, "Marriage is built on trust." A beat of silence followed. I turned to her. And tonight, I learned mine was broken. The room froze. All eyes were on me. I pulled out my phone, tapped play. The sound wasn't loud, but the silence around it made every word sharper. Lena's laugh, a man's voice, a kiss that didn't belong to a married woman. Someone gasped. Her sister went pale. Her mother looked like she'd been punched in the chest. Nick vanished. Lena didn't move, just stood there, face drained of all color, like a statue about to shatter. I set the mic down gently and walked out. That night I packed a bag, left our house without slamming a door. I didn't send a message. I didn't explain myself. I blocked her number. I told her parents I had no interest in apologies or excuses. But they came anyway. Messages, voicemails from unknown numbers. Letters slipped under my door. One of them, 8 pages long, claimed it was a moment of weakness, that it only happened once, that she felt lost and trapped, unsure of who she was anymore. She said she was drowning in expectations and clung to someone who made her forget reality for a moment. But that moment cost everything. She begged for a second chance, said she realized too late that she still loved me, that I was the real thing, that she didn't know how she could have done what she did. But here's the truth. I knew who I was. I knew what we had. I believed in the life we were building. I believed in her. And she threw that belief into someone else's arms, in a cottage by the lake, on a day meant to celebrate love. So no, I won't go back. Not because I hate her, not even because of what she did, but because I finally loved myself enough to walk away from someone who could lie that easily and cry only when the truth caught up with her. That wedding wasn't just a celebration. It was the burial of our marriage. And for the first time in years, I'm not looking back.